Welcome to I Didn't Know That. I'm Ashley Warden, and today we're talking about the oldest successful form of human flight. In episode 7, The Sky is Her Office, I'm joined by hot air balloon pilot and hot air Jubilee chair Angela Madden to uncover what it really takes to fly a balloon and what to expect at the 44th Hot Air Balloon Festival that's held right here in my hometown of Jackson, Michigan.
Foot on, then swing a leg over like you're riding a horse. Woo. Yep. Woo. Okay. Switch your feet. If you need to. Oh, you're tall enough, it doesn't matter. Ha. See, I have this little fake floor in here.
Well, we're like the same height.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow, it is really cozy in here.
My name's Angela Madden. I'm the current chair of the Hot Air Jubilee in Jackson.
Awesome. But you're also a pilot, right?
I am. I am also a hot air balloon pilot. I've had my license for 7 years now. But before that, I was a longtime crew member, balloon enthusiast, and my ballooning experience started right here in Jackson at the Hot Air Jubilee.
So how long has the Hot Air Jubilee been going on?
Since 1983. So we're in our 44th. So 44 years, however, we did skip 2. So this would be our 42nd annual event, but 44th year.
I remember coming when I was a kid and sitting up on that hill and watching the night glow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. People come from all over the country, right?
They do. They come from all over the country. So we have 18 pilots coming in. They are competing for the title of U.S. Women's National Champion. We have had them flying with us. This is our 4th year that they have been flying the week leading up to the Hot Air Jubilee. Unfortunately, this is our final year of our contract, but we've really thoroughly enjoyed. But they do. They come from all over the country, and a lot of people come for the weekend, for the Hot Air Jubilee weekend, outside of Jackson too. We've been very surprised to learn that as we do some economic impact work and studies, and to really see what the Hot Air Jubilee does for our community.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. Tell me what's involved with the women's championship. What do they do?
Yep. So they will fly, and they will fly for points. So a competitor is given a task sheet before every flight window. And for them, there are, I think, 8 scheduled flight windows. They will fly twice a day. So it's a really long week, and they get as many tasks as the event director gives them for that given flight. And those tasks are determined by a number of things: wind speed, wind direction, flying area, and all sorts of things. What might be safe for them to do while still competing and earning points. Now, to earn points, they have to navigate their balloon and fly it to a very specific area or target. That target could be a physical target, typically an X made out of balloon fabric material on the ground somewhere. And then they are given a baggie. It usually weighs about 8 ounces, and it has a 5-foot-long tail on it. And they have to throw that baggie, and the closer they land to the center of the X, the more points they get. The most points you can get on any one target is 1,000.
Okay.
The pilot with the most points at the end of the competitive event wins the title.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
So how do they navigate? Isn't it based on the wind and
Correct.
the wind direction? How do they navigate to a specific spot?
Yeah, so in the atmosphere, wind direction and speed changes relatively evenly about every 100 or couple hundred feet. You can see an adjustment. Now, it might not be a big adjustment, but that's what we call steering. Air quote, steering would be increasing our altitude or decreasing our altitude so that we can then get those changes with the balloon to steer the balloon to a target, whether that target is physical or electronic.
How do you know whether to go up or down? Do you have devices that read the wind direction?
Yep, so as part of our flight briefing, before we even go out, we get a detailed weather briefing. And in that, we take what's called a pieball or a pilot balloon. It's a helium-filled balloon, and they release it early in the morning, and there is an equipment that will tell them its speed. There's mathematical calculations that between, every 30-second interval, for example, you can determine its speed, and then you use a sighting compass to determine its direction. The weather is just as weather dependent as ballooning is, and it could change by the time we get up into the air, but at least we have some general knowledge.
Yeah.
There's always, the opportunity to, say, spit over the side of the basket and just kind of watch it. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And when you're flying, because you're flying with the wind, as you ascend and descend, the only time you are actually going to feel the wind is if you are encountering a change of speed or a change in direction.
Okay.
Most of us carry some type of an electronic device on board. We're required to carry 3 instruments: an altimeter, a variometer that tells us our rate of increase or decrease in altitude, and a thermometer that tells us how hot the balloon is at the top. But most of us are now carrying an iPad or a laptop or even our phone, right, hooked up here on the upright, that can give us some GPS information, gives us our heading, our bearing, and our speed.
Oh. Yep. Now, I've never been up in a hot air balloon. I've done a tethered ride, actually, when I was a kid. I barely remember that. But I have heard, even as somebody who's really afraid of heights, I've heard people say, but you don't even feel it when you're up there.
You don't.
Because you can't feel the wind. You feel like you're completely still almost.
Correct.
That would be so weird.
A lot of individuals that are afraid of flying, right? It's that thrust and that propulsion that you get behind a powered aircraft. We are very, very, low key and low tech here. So yeah, you might notice it if you were to look straight down over the side of the basket. You might get a little woozy, but if you keep your eyes out and watch the horizon, which is how we fly anyway, that's how we fly level flight, then yeah, you really can't tell.
Is it true that you can really hear, like if people are down there talking, you can hear what they're saying?
That's actually my absolute favorite part of ballooning.
Really?
Absolute favorite part. The truth is, in ballooning, we fly very early in the morning or kind of late at night. And I've woken up a lot of homeowners, and for that I feel horrible. But on the flip side, I really enjoy talking to them out on their porch in their bathrobes with their cups of coffee.
I bet.
So
what a cool treat, though, to be sitting out enjoying your coffee and there's a hot air balloon flying over. Like, that's so cool.
It's the interaction with the general public and the people. That is my favorite part of ballooning. A lot of pilots want to get out there and they want to fly competitively. They want to do their thing. They want to pack their equipment up and they want to be done. And I understand that too. But at the same time, it's that interaction. It's seeing the joy on people's faces. It's the ability to teach them about actually the science behind a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Because, the Montgolfier brothers in France, they had to figure it out somehow. And there is absolutely science behind it, which anybody can find out about at the STEM education tent we have going in. We're really trying to expand it and really help people learn about the science behind hot air ballooning. What makes a balloon fly more than we have a really big, candlestick at the top of a wicker basket.
Right.
The air inside the envelope has to be hotter than the air outside, or we don't fly. But why? What makes us fly behind it? And you can find out all about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. You're here by yourself, but you can't fly a hot air balloon by yourself,
Correct.
right? What does it take to, I got a little bit of footage of you just setting this up, but what is the whole process like? Walk me through that.
Yeah, it takes us about 20 to 30 minutes on an average day when we're not, in a hurry or trying to, get in the air to compete and try to keep the winds that we currently have. So we do need to set them up and ensure that they are locked in and safely. And then we have a really big, beautiful, colorful sail made out of ripstop nylon we got to attach to it. For that, we fill it with the fan that's also here in my truck. We take cold air, we fill it, and then we add heat to it to make it stand up and fly. So on an average day, I really like me plus 3 people at a minimum. I like to have someone stand right by my fan. Oddly enough, the fan on a hot air balloon system is the most dangerous piece of equipment we have. A moving blade, moving very fast with an engine attached to it, can dislodge. There's a lot of things that could happen. So we try to make sure that is monitored at all times. You got to think of it like a really large tent. The envelope itself is what is the registered aircraft with the Federal Aviation Administration. So you'll see we all have N numbers, just like the tail number of an airplane. But there are modifications that you can use, and each envelope manufacturer has different specifications as to what kind of basket and burner you can use with it.
What is the process to become a hot air balloon pilot?
Ooh, great question. You must pass a written exam, an FAA written exam, and you must pass an FAA flying exam with a designated pilot examiner, a DPE as we call them. And before you can even do all of that, you have to have 8 hours of flight time and 2 1-hour solo flights. Now, it really doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, we are only getting maybe 45 minutes to an hour per flight.
Our weather is so unpredictable.
Yeah. I have 2 young children. It took me 3 years.
And did you shadow somebody before that?
Yes. So in ballooning, there's 2 levels of pilot licensure. There's private pilot and commercial pilot. Any commercial pilot can train you to be a private pilot. How I approached my training was to fly with as many different commercial pilots as I could to learn their style, what they did, how they set up their equipment, how they take it down, how they manage their crew. And then you can take the things that you really like, that you saw worked well, and you can leave the things that you saw maybe didn't work well for you or did not fit your pilot management leadership style.
Right, because everybody's different, right?
Everybody's different.
Yeah. I did want to ask about the different shapes of balloons that you see in the bigger baskets and the smaller baskets. You touched on that a little bit about the FAA requirements, but is there anything different about flying a balloon that's a really funky shape?
Yes, absolutely. So there are probably 2 standard shaped balloons. This typical, what we would call a round balloon, which is probably historical, what you would notice, right?
And that's what you have?
That is what I have,
Okay.
right. And then there are more football-shaped balloons now. Those are called racers, or classified as a racer. And what that does is it makes the fabric more oblong so that it can ascend and descend with less restriction on the air. And therefore, they are allowed to, say, go into a target area faster. Most of the competitive pilots, the truly, really competitive pilots, you'll see in a racer-shaped balloon. I fly a 77,000 cubic foot balloon. It's relatively small in the world of ballooning. So if you think about it, 77,000 beach balls would fit inside, because each beach ball is about 1 cubic foot of air.
Yeah.
So 77,000 beach balls would fit inside my envelope. Now the special shapes are a whole different ball game and bag of engineering behind it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Inside the balloon, there is ropes and cords that hold everything in place. But if you were to look inside, the majority of those balloons, you can still see the traditional round shape that generates the lift, and everything else over and above that is either an appendage, an add-on, or a method of sewing and rope tying that allows it to kind of take on a different shape.
I can't even imagine. I sew a little bit, and I can't even imagine designing something like
you know,
that.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but the largest manufacturer of hot air balloons here in the United States, Cameron Balloons, is actually headquartered in Dexter.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about the Hot Air Jubilee. What can people expect?
Yeah, we're actually really excited about this year's Hot Air Jubilee. Obviously, you know, it's our 44th year. We've been doing this for a long time, so everything that the public expects of the Hot Air Jubilee will always be here. But we have done some expansions. Our vendor village, we are well over 60 plus vendors. We've got over 20 food trucks. We have expanded the family fun zone, and in fact, it is now the family fun zone and not just Kids Kingdom, because there's inflatables. Meijer is actually bringing in a bunch of other like large yard games for us. We have the education tent, and we do still have the Kids Kingdom fun area. So we are super, super excited about some of these add-ons. And rumor has it there might be a Black Hawk landing on Friday too.
Fun.
Yeah. So,
are there helicopter rides again
yep,
too?
Helicopter rides will be back over on the soccer fields like they always are. Intrepid Helicopters is a wonderful partner of ours, and we're glad to have them back.
Yeah, that was really exciting when you started that a few years ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They've been coming for maybe half dozen years now. Yep.
Awesome. And then car show too?
Yep. Jeep show Friday night, car show on Saturday.
So flights for the Hot Air Jubilee. When should people watch the skies? Where should people go to see if the flights are happening? Because again, Michigan weather, you just never know.
Right. Everything is weather dependent. Friday and Saturday night we'll be right here in the park. Hot Air Jubilee pilots will leave right here, I would say in the 7 o'clock-ish hour from the park, and then they will return and do their night glow after sunset. The morning flights are going to be wind direction dependent. We usually always try to have them fly in to the park so that the attendees can see what it's like to compete. We'll put X's down on the ground right here inside Sharp Park, and then you can see what it's like. Well, it might not be an X. So last year we used a pool and you had to throw a duck.
Oh, fun.
And, you know, so there's other ways to compete besides just an X. But, you know, we try to set that up here so that we can have that open to the general public as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Pro tip, morning flights are usually less busy and just as fun to watch.
Yeah,
and cooler.
For sure. And much cooler because it's mid-July, so it's probably going to be toasty.
Yep.
So how often do you fly just recreationally?
Not enough. I'll tell you that. Not enough. I have 2 teenagers and we're always busy. On the days the weather is good, they usually always have something going on. But I try to fly 12 to 15 times a year.
Okay.
A
Here
lot
in
of
Jackson or all over?
Yeah, so I live on the north side of town, so depending on wind direction, we'll either try to go up there, all the local pilots may come up there and fly with us, or we'll go down. Just the other day, we flew out at Columbia Central, so,
okay.
And it really all depends.
It's always a nice surprise when you see a balloon up in the air. It brings joy. It makes people happy.
Yep.
My daughter was at Falcons Park in Michigan Center a couple weeks ago, and she saw some balloons fly over. And she's like, waving. She texted me some pictures.
Memorial Day, we had 7 balloons fly out of the park here. And sometimes it just, organically happens like that. You have like meetups sometimes. Yeah. A text will come out, hey, I'm thinking about flying today. You want to go? And then it just, it organically grows from there. My son is graduating, my daughter now can drive herself, so I have a few more opportunities to be able to go my separate way a little bit. So I was just in Meadville, Pennsylvania a couple of weeks ago, and I'll be in Midland at the end of the month, but otherwise, no, I usually just stick close to home.
I know a little bit about that. Little taste of freedom. I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old.
You're there,
so I'm there too. I'm starting to kind of discover that, I got to figure out what I like to do. And now I have a little bit of free time.
Exactly. So. My daughter is a student pilot herself. So
fun.
So she's 16. She goes to Junior Balloonist Camp every year. There's 3 camps that are held every year around the country. So she spends a week in Georgia, and there's a bunch of pilots, commercial pilots, that volunteer their time and volunteer their equipment to teach them how to fly. You have to be 13 to go to camp.
Okay.
She's...
good for her.
Yep.
That's
she's got 1 more year.
Following in mom's footsteps.
Now she's waiting for me to buy her own balloon. But there is a very, very good used market, for lack of a better way to say.
Okay.
Pilots really help other pilots. So if you were to put a request out on we have our own social channels, right? Or a text and say, hey, I'm looking for a new basket for a student pilot. Does anybody have one? And maybe somebody have just upgraded, and they're looking to sell their wicker or sell their envelope, or they're retiring, but their envelope still has life in it. Great opportunities for a student pilot. In fact, my entire system right now is used.
Oh, wow. So you can kind of piece your rig together.
You can. A lot of it is like plug and play. Yep. Now, envelope, burners, basket is really all they come. If you're to buy it brand new, that's all you get. You still have to buy your fuel tanks. You still have to buy your inflation fan, whatever your chase vehicle is going to be. For me, it's a pickup truck here with a lift gate on it. Lift gate didn't come on my pickup truck.
You had to have that installed.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and then we carry radios. I fly with an iPad. So there's a whole bunch of auxiliary pieces of equipment that you have to include in that purchase as well, and instruments. The FAA requires you to fly with those 3 instruments that we talked about.
Is there anything that we didn't cover?
Yeah, for your listeners and watchers. So the biggest question we always get are the balloons flying today?
Right.
Are the balloons flying today? Download the mobile app. You have to follow us on socials. We are a volunteer-run board. We have 2 people running those things.
Wow.
So, we are most active on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All flight notifications will be there. The one thing that we cannot say for the nationals competition is exactly where they're going to be. We can give you general directions. We can say they will be in Spring Arbor. We can say they will be, towards Napoleon, but we can't tell you where any of the competition targets are. We have to maintain clean environments for them so that competition is legal and upheld to the standards of our national organizing body. And Friday and Saturday night, we're going to be right here at the park.
Sure, yeah.
Right? But we can tell you flight's a go, flight's not a go, pilots are on hold, they're going to do an additional briefing. But the best way to get that information and to be up to date on it, if you create an account in our mobile app, you will get a push notification on the app when we send that out.
Yeah.
And our social media will be the first place that we post it.
And I have the app, and I work obviously at the radio station.
Yep.
And so I use those notifications. Okay, the flight's a go or it's not a go, and we can talk about it on the radio for our listeners too. So.
And the other thing I think that's important is we have tentative flight times on our schedule. Those are tentative and absolutely weather dependent. We do have a little bit of leeway in those scheduled flight times. So if it turns, let's say 6 o'clock, and that is what's on the schedule and they're not in the air yet, please don't bombard us asking us if they're going to fly. Are they in the air? Are they in the air? We will let you know as soon as we know. But sometimes those briefings take longer because there's unique weather criteria and conditions that they're looking at. I'll give you a little hint first. This is like, you got the key here. Michigan Storm Chasers.
Oh, I love them.
Will be in town doing weather for the Women's National Championships.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So Joel and Alex will be in town. They will be here in Jackson. So watch both of our social for posts about that.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Michigan Storm Chasers.
Me too. Yep. Me too. Ooh, they're live. Let's go.
Yeah. So it is fun because you have all this other stuff happening at the Hot Air Jubilee. If the flight isn't a go or if it's delayed, there's still other stuff to do. But also, I think from experience, it's fun to just sit here and watch you guys set up and get the balloons filled up. Like, that's one of the most fun parts for me.
As an attendee, as crew at other balloon events, we are probably one of the events that I've been to that allows the general public to be as close as we allow the general public to be. Yeah, you're really going to get up close and personal. This year, we're also going to try something new on Friday night, remote control balloons, hot air balloons, which are miniature, truly working hot air balloons with a burner and propane and all.
Oh, wow. So it's not like a drone that looks like a hot air balloon.
It is not a drone that works like it is a hot air balloon, but in miniature size with its own basket, its own burner, and its own propane. We have, I think, 3 or 4 pilots that are bringing their remote control balloons. So I think 4 o'clock on Friday, we're going to see if the weather, they are even more weather dependent than the big balloons, strangely enough, because they're so small. But we're hoping to be able to get them out and, show everybody.
Cool. How big are they?
It really depends. Yeah. They come in all sizes, but while my balloon is, 77,000 cubic feet, I think one that is like 120 cubic feet. So it's like really compacted.
Oh, I love everything miniature.
Yep.
That'll make you so cute.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for chatting hot air balloons with me today, Angela.
Yeah, anytime.
You're awesome.
Yep.
Woo.
There you go. Hey, you're a pro.
Yes. All right. Sign me up.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something new that you didn't know before about hot air balloons. And hey, maybe I'll see you at the Hot Air Jubilee this weekend, July 17th, 18th, and 19th.